I'm official now. I've had an official introduction by Benita Carnute. How y'all feeling? Good, good, and I've got it on tape. One of the things that I have to admit right off the bat is that it's nice to volunteer and do double duty. Just as Dr. Carnute said, I am the owner of a communications company. We do a lot of video production work, but I also live a double life. One of my passions has become one of my jobs, and I'm not sure how that happened. I have always worked in youth development, some of my students that are here today. But I never thought that something that I loved so much would become a part of my everyday life, and that is actually playing the game of chess. I grew up in East St. Louis, and I was in the 7th grade, and my social studies teacher made an offer to all the kids after school one day. He said, everybody who stays after school today, I'm going to give you an opportunity to play chess, and anybody who wins, you'll win a Snickers candy bar. And so his classroom was packed with like middle school students after. It was about 30, 40 people. And we all played. And I had just learned how to play chess the summer before. And, you know, I had lost a lot, and I played a lot, and I learned how to beat people. And that day I won about 7 or 8 candy bars. Well, those 30 or 40 chess players became the Lansdowne Junior High School National Chess Champions. This was a group of African-American children from what they call the worst school district in the United States, District 189. And we were traveling around the country playing this game that African-American children were not typically represented in. And we became the national champions, and we were the regional champions over Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, and Indiana all the time that I lived in East St. Louis. But I want to tell you something else that happened. My chess coach, my first chess coach, retired about 6 years ago. And everywhere we had traveled, I mean, we had gone over all these places, and I said, I want to go back, and when he retires, I want to be there. You know, I want to be there for his big celebration. And when I got to the celebration, one of my friends I hadn't seen in about 15 or 20 years turned to me and said, you know, Mr. McGarian didn't know how to play chess. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, he didn't know how to play chess at all. And I was like, I went back in my mind and I started thinking about what he was doing. He took us to all of these places around the country. But before we got there, we would stop at these historic sites. Anybody familiar with the new cathedral on Lindell? They call it the Cathedral Basilica. I remember the first day he took us there, he spent like an hour telling us about the tapestry and all of this stuff. And I was like, this is absolutely amazing. This dude knows everything. He did that every city we went to. Now my question is, what in the world was Mr. McGarian doing with us if he wasn't teaching us how to play chess? He never taught me one thing about the game of chess. He never critiqued any of my moves. As a matter of fact, the people who taught us were the high school students that he brought to our middle school. They taught us how. He gave us Snickers and a whole lot of history. What in the world was he doing with this game of chess? He saw his responsibility to give to us something that we weren't getting, which was exposure. His idea was that if he exposed us to as much of the world and all of its ideas, that we would become curious. Curiosity is the foundation of intelligence. How many of you would consider yourselves curious? Good, you raise your hand. What are you curious about, young man? Speak loudly now. Stand up, say your name, your high school, and tell us what you're curious about. You can speak to everybody, and I'll look at your back. They shouldn't see your back. Y'all, you can talk to them. I'm okay with looking at your back. Yeah, what are you curious about? Christian? Mr. Anderson? Okay. What are you curious about?
Crime.
Okay, so you're curious about crime, why crime happens. Okay, that's caught your attention. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Can we give Mr. Anderson a round of applause? Young lady, could you please stand up and introduce yourself to us, please? Speak loudly was the request. Very nice. Okay. I've got another question. I'm really curious about your school. Can you stand there for another second? Right now, Normandy is facing a few challenges, right? Okay. Do you see yourself at all connected to that? Do you have a role to play in what's happening in Normandy right now?
I believe I do, but I don't think that I contributed to the low grade averages or anything like that. But I helped a lot of kids stay away from it because I was the president of the choir and the robotics team. So I did a lot of recruiting and trying to keep them doing stuff after school and help them stay away from all of it.
Beautiful. What's your name again?
Kaylin.
And what's your last name?
Binder.
Love it. Perfect. Good. Young man, what's your name? Can you please stand? You know I was going to call you out. Can you tell us your name and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Marquelo McDaniels, Teresa grad for Academy, and I feel like sometimes I'm just curious about life, sometimes the purpose of life.
Nice. And where are you going to school?
I'm going to school at Howard University.
All right. Nice. They told me I only had a few minutes to share with you. I want to give you a concept real fast. My mother's told me never talk to strangers, so I had to know a little bit about you all. I am going to share with you one of I guess this is probably one of the most influential concepts of my life. I'm not asking you to agree with it. It's not, although I do have degrees from Tennessee State, University of Missouri, St. Louis, and a master's degree from Washington University, which is really cool. Y'all should clap for me. Dude, I was a target. I was one of those at-risk kids growing up in East St. Louis. Single-parent family, lots of violence around, gangs everywhere, all that good stuff. But I played chess, and you should too. You'll go to grad school and don't pay for it. I got a scholarship to grad school at WashU. Now, there is a concept. It's based in, I've got a master's and a bachelor's degree in social work. So some of this is influenced by my education in social work. So let me put that out there. But it is through my work with nonprofit organizations, watching St. Louis, understanding how schools and communities are successful, that I came up with this concept that I would like to share with you. I am Harlan Hodge. I'm a character chess coach. This is my grandmother's picture. It's my grandmother's grandmother picture that found its way to St. Louis. So the lady up at the top left is my grandmother's grandmother. The gentleman holding the baby in the center is my grandmother's grandfather, right? Quite often, and these people we're not sure when this picture was taken, but we believe that it was taken close to 1892 or something like that. And it was taken by Time magazine. The reason I'm showing you this picture is because I need you all to understand that I am the hope of those people. See, those people were fresh out of slavery, right? They didn't know what was coming next. All they knew was that those children in that picture, whom neither were my grandmother or my great-grandmother, they knew that those children held within them a seed of hope, that they might not see freedom fully realized, but that somebody would. And I believe that I am what they were hoping for. So let me say this. Here's a model for community sustainability. For any community to sustain itself, that means to be around. What community do you belong to, young lady? St. Louis community. Good. Young lady, what's your name in the orange? Aubrey. What community do you belong to? University City. Okay. Do you belong to the Normandy community? Mm-hmm. Good. What community do you belong to, sir? Okay, all right. So y'all talk about community in terms of city or location. I'm going to challenge you to expand that a little bit. Let's expand it to the place where we live, work, and play, where the resources for our recreation are. It's our institutions like schools, churches, recreation. What else? What other things are part of your communities? What if I helped you out a little bit? And I told you that communities have a unique responsibility. We're going to talk about 3 legs of a community: the community itself, the family or the neighborhood, and the individual. The community has a unique responsibility to those families. What do you think that responsibility is? Y'all a little quiet. It's to provide shelter. What that shelter means, a community provides for families things that it can't provide for itself. For example, what is a thing that exists in your community that your family couldn't provide? Quickly, I only have like 3 minutes left. Schools, exactly. What else? Your family didn't create those roads. Everybody collectively came together to create those roads, right? What else did the community provide that you couldn't provide as an individual family? Like what? Policemen, firemen, you got it? What else? Schools, churches, right? Those are all of the larger parts of our community that the community decides this is important for us to have, and we provide them to give them to families because they can't do it for themselves. Got it? That's the responsibility of the community, to shelter or provide things for the family that it can't provide for itself. What's the family's unique responsibility? Provide what? To provide what? Yeah, to provide for one's own family. There's another way that I say that. To develop. They have a responsibility to develop the members. Those people who belong to that family. Families take on all kinds of shapes and forms, but your family is responsible because they know you better than anybody else, right? They know about your potential. They know about your shortcomings. They know what you're capable of, right? And so it's their responsibility to develop the members. Now, I asked you a question. This is the answer to the question that you gave. What is the members' unique responsibility to the community? What does your family expect from you? Don't make the parents tell you. To make a difference? Absolutely. Now here it is, these nice people as a part of this organization, they're giving you, why are they doing this stuff for you? Why are they giving you a trunk? What all this stuff? Nobody gave me a trunk. They want y'all just to do what? What do they expect from you? They want you to be successful. Be successful. What does that mean? Y'all better start answering because they're going to roll them trunks right out of here. Okay? What is it? I got 1 minute left. Y'all taking too long to answer the questions. Let me tell you. That's what they want you to do. You must build the community. If you don't contribute to the community, everything falls apart. Y'all got it? We fully expect for you to do for everybody else or somebody else what we've done for you. Whatever community you feel like you belong to, well, guess what? You just found yourself a whole new community, right? And you have a responsibility just as we have a responsibility to give to you. You have a responsibility to give back to your families and your communities. When you don't, things fall apart. You got it? So just help me out real fast. What's the community's responsibility to the family? Now, I'm going backwards now. Y'all trying to cheat. Y'all all confused. There you go. So the community does what? Shelter who?